right, welcome back, everybody, for some more Members First content. Members will get this as soon as I'm done filming and editing on Sunday. Everybody else will get this on Monday evening. So hopefully you're enjoying this list. This is going to be my new comic book day list, my watch list for this Wednesday, July 26, 2023. So these are all the books that I'm keeping my eye on, some stuff I want to read, some stuff that people are talking about, some stuff that's selling at a premium already with some of the incentives, etc. This is just a list of the books, again, that I'm keeping my eye out for this week, trying to give you a heads up before, this new comic book Wednesday. And this way you can get a heads up and know what books to keep an eye out for, because some of them are already selling for a little bit of a premium. Will that hold come, end of the week? Who knows? But since everybody else is talking about San Diego Comic-Con right now, I've already had enough. I didn't go. It's not really my deal. It's not really my thing. So there's still plenty more in the comic industry outside of San Diego Comic-Con that we could still talk about, including the comic books that are coming out this upcoming week. And you can see behind me, there are the books from last week that I mentioned that I decided to pick up. I got my Jeff the Landshark Venomized book. As weird as that book was, I really like this cover, so I made sure to grab it. And I got those art germs that didn't have foil because I don't like foil. That said, hope you're enjoying this series as well as everything else on the channel. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. And if you want to see what books I'm keeping my eye on this week for the Wednesday watch list, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. Okay, so let's start this week off with a few buzz books. Now, these are some books that have some buzz going into this week's new release days that might be worth, being aware of. Popular of late have been the secret spoiler covers. We don't know what the cover art's going to be, and then all of a sudden in the storyline something big happens, like Spider-Boy, etc. So there are a couple of books this week that did have the spoiler warning, secret covers. By now, these covers actually have been released and revealed. So if you don't like to see spoilers, jump ahead like 2 minutes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but X-Men, the Hellfire Gala, does have a spoiler, which I don't think is much of a spoiler in that, okay, it's got Ms. Marvel on it, Kamala Khan, which we already know there's a whole new series announced, Ms. Marvel, the next mutant or new mutant or whatever the heck it's called. We know she's coming back, and we know she's coming back as a mutant. So her being on this cover, to me, isn't really a spoiler. Also, considering they've had a ton of these Hellfire Gala covers that were non-mutants that were just, on the front, right? This isn't the first one, is it? I don't know. I could have sworn. Maybe I'm misremembering, and they all actually have been mutants on other books, etc. But I feel like we've seen other characters, but it doesn't matter. She's a mutant now, so there she goes. So that's one of the spoiler covers for this week. And then there is a second, which is on the upcoming Venom book. I think it's Venom 23. Some high ratio incentives, which we will get into later, but there is a spoiler reveal cover, and if you want to see what it is, apparently there's going to be a new symbiote of some kind. I don't know the name as of yet, but it looks like a female symbiote of some kind there on the cover. It looks like a Black Widow symbiote, right? I mean, you see the little thingies. I don't know. So we'll find out this week when this book releases, but this is the spoiler cover. So keep an eye out for it. Who knows what this might do? I'm not expecting a whole heck of a lot, but you never know. As I said, I wasn't expecting Spider-Boy either. That said, another thing you might want to keep an eye out for is some ash cans. I know a lot of the buzz has been about the San Diego Comic-Con, the Transformers ash can, which is cool. I wouldn't mind getting one too, but there's no way in hell I'm paying like $80 for that thing. No, it's just not me. That's not how I spend my money. But if you go to your shop, there's a couple of books where they are getting ash cans. I think these are 1 per stores, but some of them are already selling. I've seen them, listed up on eBay. The first one being this Batman book by Raphael Grandpa, Gargoyle of Gotham, book 1. So there's an ash can black label edition that's, I guess, shops must already have it because some of them are already sold. But again, this is an ash can, 1 per store. This book I don't think comes out till like September, like the regular edition. So you can see right up there at the top, it does say Ash Can Edition right up here. I'll zoom in a little bit, see if it help you. See, book 1, Ash Can Edition. This is also a cover that's been released for that upcoming September normal release. So, it's not a new cover, but it is an Ash Can, and it does say so. That said, pre-sales have already been like $10 to $30. The most recent ones are 30 and 30, but there was a $10 one back was that July 21st? So only a few days ago, a couple days ago, and then a couple for 30. I don't know about that price. I mean, it is just an ash can overall. I wouldn't spend too much for it, but hey, if your shop's got it, your shop doesn't care, they decide to give it to one of their loyal pull list people, or they have it up for a couple of bucks, maybe you want to consider it, because asking prices, well, 20 to 30 seems to be the going rate right now. Who knows what will happen come Tuesday? This is the DC book after all, so maybe we'll see it more on Tuesday. Just something to keep an eye on. Outside of this ash can, there is another one. Rick and Morty also have an ash can that is a manga ash can. So super secret preview, apparently. Right there down at the bottom, you can see this has also already been pre-selling. Not for a lot. This one is cheap as $6, as high as 15. So this one might just be more of a throw-in, maybe just give it away to fans. You know, again, if your LCS knows you and knows you're a fan of Rick and Morty, maybe you can get this book for nothing or for cheap. But just something to look for. Again, copies available around that like $10 to $15 kind of range for the most part. So not going to make you rich, but just something worth keeping an eye on to see what happens. Now, this week, there are some things I am looking forward to reading. So I do have a reading list for you. These are the books that I'm trying to keep up with. Granted, I've already failed with the first one. This has made the reading list before, and I'm still far, far behind, but I will get there. It's still worth grabbing because the art is fantastic. I know it's going to be good. I just got to catch up. Monstrous. So we're getting a new issue of Monstrous, issue 46, coming out this week. So if you're keeping up with it, unlike me, this is probably going to be at the top of your pile. Also, we're getting another World Tree book. I'm not in love with this series, but I am interested enough to want to see where it's going. And this should be, first arc should be wrapping up soon. And this is issue 4 after all. Once again, multiple incentive variants with it. I'm actually going to put the 1 in 100 up here instead of saving it towards the end because, hey, we're talking about World Tree now, so why belabor the point and make you wait until the incentive section? But apart from there being, I think, a 1 in 25, 1 in 50, there is a 1 in 100, which is a James Tynion #1 homage, as they have been so far. When I first saw this book, I was like, what is this an homage of? I see the I was focused more in on the computer monitor with the folders more so than the image itself. So I couldn't place it for a little bit. It just took me a minute, and then I was like, wait a second. This is actually an homage to Wind, #1, another Tynion book out of Boom, actually. So that's what the homage is here for this 1 in 100 on issue 4. Now, it's not selling for much over ratio, but it has hit over ratio with one sale so far, $130. This is a 1 in 100, so 130, the one sale I could find. Only a couple issues listed, or a couple copies listed in there, 115 and 130. So, once again, not asking like double ratio or crazy amounts just yet, but you know, who knows? Again, as this series rolls on, I don't know if the print run is maintaining, going down, if everybody's keeping up with it, if shops are ordering as many as they have been or did with the first issue or not. But we did see that Nice House on the Lake do double ratio plus on their 1 in 100. And then, you know, the other ones that came out since then have also done well. So is this a case of diminishing returns, or is this one going to start getting, you know, higher values associated with it because it's harder to find because not as many places are keeping up and ordering as much as they were at the start? I don't know. That said, the book I'm really looking forward to this week was a surprise in the first issue. Like when I read it, I was surprised I enjoyed it as much as I did. So I am looking forward to putting Incredible Hulk #2 at the top of my reading pile for this week. I'm interested to see where they're going. I like the idea of these new villainous type creature kind of characters. And surprisingly, already, the 1 in 25 is sold out in a lot of pre-sale places, a lot of the bigger stores, and it's already selling for a premium. And it has a pretty awesome cover. I like this. I like this cover. I'm going to see if I can try to track one down, but I'm not paying the prices it's at right now. But I do like how the face is hidden there in the makeup of the trees, and I just think it's a really cool look. Like, I don't know. I like the layout of this. It's unique. I'm into it. So 1 in 25, issue 2. Copies are already selling for double ratio, around $50, as you can see here. Asking prices right around double plus. Look, we got 50 to 65 now, so it's kind of inching up already. I don't know where it'll be once we hit Wednesday, because just because it's pre-selling for a lot doesn't mean that's going to hold. A lot of times these things will drop and they'll be like, 30 or, 30 or 40 maybe even, or hit back down towards ratio. And then other times, maybe it will increase. I mean, look at that Harley Quinn Black, White, and Redder book. That one was kind of doing a similar thing as this, and then it increased as the week went on, actually. So who knows where this one will go? No idea what's inside of it yet. I don't know if there's like another first or something that's going to push this a bit further, but to me, I just think it's a pretty awesome cover. Another thing that I'm looking to read is just trying to keep up with this Ultimate Invasion. It wasn't a great start, but it is an event type book, so of course it's got to be a lot of basic setup kind of stuff. So I'm curious to see now. This is probably going to be the issue where we get a little bit more of a clearer picture where we're going. So that's why I'm looking forward to reading this one this week. So Ultimate Invasion, you got Hitch, and they're coming back with a pretty awesome 1 in 50 as well. So we'll talk about that one here, in this part. But Tedesco has a pretty cool 1 in 50 on this Ultimate Invasion. I don't know. I like Tedesco's art, so I wish I would have ordered this because this one might be tough. This one might be tough to find because even though it's a Marvel event, I don't think it's being strongly ordered or promoted. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it. So the print run could already be dipping down where 1 in 50 is not actually as high as we think. Don't think there's a lot of exclusives run by stores right now because they're spending all their money getting more Spider-Man books and Star Wars books, etc. I don't see a lot of exclusives for this. So I am a little surprised with how high this is already selling for, considering 1 in 50, a couple of $50 sales right around ratio, actually back in June. And then we did have, what is that? June 19th. There was one for $80. Okay. Not going to get kind of crazy over that because these were weeks ago. Not that much higher than ratio, but the asking prices pretty steep already. 120, 135. Cheapest one is about $80 plus $15 shipping. So they're all looking for double ratio plus. So will it get these prices? I don't know. We'll see if copies are actually on shelves or if people do start shelling out and start getting FOMO and start paying some of these, high amounts. Because there's nothing to support these $120 asks yet because there hasn't been a sale of that magnitude, but we'll see if they get it. There's nothing wrong with fishing. Hey, it's their book. They can do what they want. Pre-sales are pre-sales. Come Wednesday, things change. Once books are out and in hand, that's when we see the real demand and supply. So just keep that in mind. Just looking ahead here and seeing what's going to happen. Later prints. We do have later prints to talk about this week, starting off with, again, these fit this section because this is just a reprint. It's a facsimile. So a facsimile reprint of Marvel .1, which is the first, Kamala Khan. Still a reprint. Nothing wrong with this. Again, I got no problem with facsimile reprints. It is a reprint. They're not. I get a problem when people try to sell this as an original with the facsimiles, like people were doing with that New Mutants 98, trying to trick people. That's not cool. But what isn't really cool about this one is I don't know why it's so darn expensive. Why does this have an $8 cover price? It's a reprint. The original one didn't cost $8. Why does this cost $8? Just saying. So I'm probably not getting this for $8. I got the original. I don't need a duplicate for $8. So probably setting this one out personally. But if you didn't get the first one, you do want it. I guess you could do worse. That's just that's a high cover price to me for what is just a reprint. It's like, hopefully it's not foil. Nothing I heard said this was foil, but maybe that's why it's expensive and it's a foil version. Ugh, you guys know what I think about foils. But outside of that, we do have a couple of other second prints. Spider-Man India, it was okay. I read it. It was an okay read. But apparently we're getting a second print for that. Pretty cool cover if you're into it. Just this one. No incentive on this, so that's kind of cool. So if you missed it out, you want to read it, here you go. Spider-Man India, #1, gets a second print. In Who Asked for This? Why Do We Need This? Category for second prints, we have Star Wars 35. Yes, this book sold well. This was pumped, and people were so excited to see that character that gave Luke his lightsaber or whatever. And then, oh, wait, there's some Sith inside. She's important. Whatever. There's a second print. If you want it, it's a cool cover. I just don't know if this is necessary or needed, but we got it anyway. So, second print for Star Wars 35 this week. Who knows? Who knows? Stranger things have, sold at a premium. But the one that I thought was also kind of interesting, but do we need the incentives, is here. Black Panther. Black Panther 1, I enjoyed this read as well. I just got issue 2. I haven't read it yet, but I did get issue 2. Gonna take a look at that later after I'm done, recording all this stuff for this week. But we got a second print for issue 1. Not a bad cover, pretty cool. Interior art being reused, fine. I got no problem with that. And they reused one of the variant covers, the Raza cover, for a virgin version to be the 1 in 25. Fine, I guess that's okay. But I'm just tired of these incentives on second prints. It's unnecessary. They're going to keep doing it if you guys keep paying for it. You guys keep buying it. You guys keep paying these crazy high pre-order prices for these things. Like, it's a 1 in 25, but people jumping and spending $50, $75 for these things right out of the gate has shops ordering these so they can get them to sell those books to you. And then we have all these second prints that nobody wants just filling dollar bins in the future because, well, the shops made their money off of the pre-order buyer who decided they wanted to pay so much because, oh, these are going to be hard to find. Again, rarity alone does not equal value. Just remember that. While right now, because these are the hot thing that people like and, oh, it's so cool, right now they might be selling for a bit. Down the line, there has to be some reason for somebody to want this book outside of, well, it's tough to find, right? Don't you want a little bit more just to make you feel a little more comfortable in your investment than that? But we'll see. We'll see. But like I said, as long as you guys keep doing this, they're going to keep doing it too. $100 sales, $90 sales on the pre-orders. That's why this keeps happening, because people keep paying this price for a pre-order because it doesn't cost the person who sold you that much to get the book. Think of it this way. Most of the shops pay maybe around 50% of cover. So we're talking about a $4 book. They're paying about $2 a copy. So cost them what? $2 times 25, $50. Might cost them about $50 to get one of these 1 in 25s. All told, maybe a couple extra dollars here or there. But then they sell it for $100. They've more than made their money already. So all of the second prints that they had to order to get that incentive is just gravy. Because you pre-order buyers keep paying this. Stop. And then they'll stop. That said, yeah, we'll see what happens. Scarlet Witch, the annual, has also got a second print coming. I know this book kind of sold out. Yeah, it's all right, I guess. Pretty cool cover that they decided to kind of reuse here, and second print. And again, nobody's going to care about that cover because they're going to want the 1 in 25 second print, which is a pretty cool cover. Jimmy Chung, I like it. Solid. But once again, do we need this? Probably not. $56 plus on a pre-order. So not too much. There's none available here, so there's no asking prices. Also, on that the Black Panther, I couldn't find any available at present. But those pre-order sales are going to keep this happening. It's going to keep happening as long as you guys keep paying for it. So just remember, you're creating your own monsters by doing this. But that all said, we do have an homage section. I do love good homage. This time out, there's some weird stuff in here. I'll preface that right now. We don't have a huge set. Like 2 weeks ago, we had like a huge section of homage. It was like over and over with one after the other. And I'm not covering everything that I saw that was an homage, but I am covering a few. And there are actually a couple in here that I don't know what they are an homage to. So I'll be asking for your help. First one, Poison Ivy. It's like Poison Ivy Unbound or Uncovered or something. Pretty cool. I think this is a Lyrics Lee, maybe. But you look at it and you go, is it? Like, yep, I think that's a Titanic. Yes, it's not suitable from the actual original, but I covered it up, so we can view it here. But you get it. It's from Titanic, and it's pretty well done. 1 for 1. You even got the notebook. I had to trim it again a little bit more, so it doesn't match 1 for 1 completely, but it's close enough. Pretty cool. So something to keep an eye out for if you're into it. Incentive wise, there's a 1 in 25 here on Night Terrors. So Night Terrors Part 2 has a pretty cool Death in the Family homage to the trade paperback. This was not a cover to the original 4-issue run of comics, but the trade paperback, which is what I had as a kid for this run, has this. And this is very memorable to me. So I think this is a pretty cool cover, pretty cool homage. I like it. So it's not selling for a bunch or anything like that. So that's why there's no pricing information. Just letting you know, 1 in 25. By and large, when I put these 1 in 25s up, and if I don't have any, sale information, most of them are selling for a ratio or less at present for the pre-sales. So That's why I'm not giving you pricing on it. Just like the next one. We got another one. We've got Superman, Last Days of Lex Luthor. There's a Black Label book, so it's going to be one of those bigger, wider, almost magazine-sized kind of things. Higher cover price as well. But this is the 1 in 25, which, when you look at it, it's, hey, Sistine Chapel all the way, right? Pretty cool, Superman. It fits. They've kind of referenced this kind of thing before, so I think it's kind of a cool one. And hey, it might be tough. It might be tough. Like I said, Black Label. I don't know how many shops are ordering 25 of a lot of these Black Label books, and it's going to be a super oversized, so could be a tougher one to find. I don't know. Regular cover homage, going back to that Venom book. I said new character inside. There's all kinds of symbiotes here, there, all over the place, but pretty fun little Secret Wars 8, right? Not that this hasn't been done before and done numerous times over and over again. It's still there. So if you don't like one of the regular covers, this is a regular non-incentive variant. So these are fun to be able to grab if you don't like the regular cover art. You're like, you know what? I'm going to grab this one instead. Hey, it's your choice. Since they're giving you all these options anyway, you might as well pick the one you like, right? We've seen this before as well, but Friday the 13th movie poster homage here on The Curse of Cleaver County. I don't really know much about this book, but saw the homage, thought it was pretty cool. Going over to the Mothman book. So we saw that Opus did this a couple weeks ago with the Death Dealer book. We're getting the NES, box art thing. I use the same example, but that it's basically a very similar layout. Perfect, like a 1-for-1 kind of rendition. There's no actual Mothman game or a game that they're completely homaging here, but it's just the layout of the box with the the series type at the bottom there, the the Nintendo stamp of approval, etc. Yeah, it's all pretty well acknowledged in their homage, which I can appreciate. I don't know why we need this one either, but we have this Traveling to Mars from, is this Ablaze? Yeah. Ablaze has given us a lot of weird homages over the last few months, and here we have an Eternals 1. So if you're into it, go for it. Otherwise, it's just there. It's just there. Catches the eye. I'm not reading the book, so I don't know what's going on in this Traveling to Mars, but yeah, not bad. It's like I said, they do a good job of recreating the covers. That's all I got to say there. We've seen this one before too, but Red Room is doing a Hellboy. Still pretty cool, pretty well done. I like it. I don't think I'm going to grab this book, but this is also a 1 in 10, so this might be selling for a bit. Once the Wednesday hits, because not a lot of places. Some of these Red Rooms do go up, especially the incentives, but it's kind of a very short-term thing. So just don't get FOMO, but you never know. Could be tough. Could be tough. Now, this next book looked familiar, and the title of it listed as an homage, but doesn't say what it's an homage to. So if you know what this is, please put it in the comment section down below, because I was trying to figure it out, doing all kinds of weird searches, because the silhouettes of the family and then the house in the background looks kind of familiar, and then just the foreground where it looks like a broken statue. I don't know. It looks very familiar. I even tried searching the taglines there with "the truth lies mostly beneath the surface." I tried. I was trying to see what it could be. I'm like, what lies beneath? Is it like, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. So if you know, please let me know in the comment section what this is an homage to. Because I don't know, but it's listed as an homage. The next one is also, I think, just more of a generic one, because I couldn't find a 1-for-1 example of it for it. But the Ribbon Queen had this pretty good. It looks like a movie poster with, even has the fake fold lines in it for the old school movie posters. But I couldn't find what this actually matched up to either. It could just be kind of a generic horror kind of poster. But if this is something, what poster this is, please put it down in the comments, because I looked, I searched, but after a little while I had to give up, because if I don't get it right away, I could be spending all day going down the rabbit hole trying to figure this out, and I don't know if it's worth investing that kind of time in it. But if please share with the community, share with me, so it can put my mind at ease, and we know what this is an homage to. But there's our homage section. These horror books here, especially with the Ribbon Queen here at the end, is going to lead us into another segment I think we're going to run through the rest of the summer. I think we're going to be keeping creepy covers here because of Night Terrors. Because there are a lot of covers from Night Terrors that are just really cool. I mean, I've got the Nightwing one from last week behind me because, like I said, this is a cool look. Even though it's not really super creepy, looks kind of like a badass Power Ranger. I don't know. This week, not all of them are super creepy. Some of them are kind of weird. I almost brought back the WTF section for one of them, but we'll start off with action. So it's kind of disconcerting. Like, it's unsettling seeing like the cyborg kind of arm and face here on action. It's not really scary, but it's a little, like I said, off-putting, I guess. I don't know. Something weird about it. But kind of creepy in its own right, so that's why it's here. These next two actually look pretty cool, but they do have that kind of, like I said, creepy vibe to them. You know, the dead eyes here. So Night Terror's Angel Breaker #1 has a couple of covers. This one's pretty cool. I also like this one here. You got all the skeleton dudes in the back there. So it still fits. There's also a 1 in 25 for this as well. This kind of looks like a, what's that Boom series with the Once in Future. It kind of reminds me of that. But I don't know, pretty cool for the 1 in 25. Again, not selling at a premium, so that's why we're not getting pricing info. But it is out there, like a lot of $15. Sales and asks, etc. So not selling for a premium yet, but just worth keeping an eye out for. But this next one is the one I thought about putting in the WTF section because I don't know what the hell this thing is. Like, just looking at it, it's just, this thing is unsettling. It's like a weird Starro Batman, like that big eye in the middle with the huge mouth, and then the stuff just growing off of the sides. There's tendrils. I don't know. Just weird. And this is not the only cover. They also have this version too, which it's just there. It looks like he's from the upside down in some way. So kind of creepy, right? But I almost put it in the WTF section because I don't know what the fuck this thing is. This thing is just, I don't know. It's weird. There is a 1 in 25 for the series as well. Also creepy, kind of cool. We got the Batman with the skeleton, and you got the wing under the cape. Yeah, but again, easily, readily available. I think there's like $10, $15 copies of this already, and it's only for the 1 in 25. So again, well under ratio. Something if you're interested in, you can go and get. But I just kind of dig the cover. I don't know if I'm going to get this one, but we'll see. This Beast Boy is kind of weirding me out because of the face transitioning. It's like the octopus and the wolf and his face, and then the elephant leg. I don't know. Also unsettling. That's why it's here in the creepy section. But this is for Night Terror's Titans. So creepy cover. That's why it's here. But that's it, I think, for the Night Terror ones. I got one from Marvel that kind of fit the category here, because this thing also was kind of unsettling to look at. This, Cult of Carnage Misery. I don't know. This is kind of spooky looking, right? This thing's just coming at you. Kind of like it. Kind of dig it. In the not so much a creepy section, but I'm putting it in this section. I shouldn't say creepy section. Not as creepy, but something I thought would be pretty good here in this section is the Alice Never After, because, well, the Cheshire Cat and her face, and it is weird enough to be a little unsettling, I guess. I don't know, but I thought it was kind of cool. This is the cover A for the Dan Panosian one, and there is a Jenny Frison cover as well for this, which is also kind of cool. It's not creepy, but the colors are kind of popping, so I kind of like it with the weird colors. It made me think of the Blacklight comic we had from a week or two ago. I also got that, the Error edition of the Night Terrors, where it came out all brown instead of bright green. So I got that back there, which is a good place for us to talk about that in the next section of covers. We're going to start with that book because, yes, you remember there was that Error edition about 2 weeks ago where the Night Terrors book came out looking like this. Like I said, I got one back here. Like, the pinks are all right there, but brown was in place of the green. So the Error edition got recalled or whatever. Though a couple are still out there. Don't go paying a ton of money for it, but they're out there if you're interested. But we are apparently getting the fixed editions this week. So we should be getting this, which I still like. I still think this is kind of cool with the purples and the greens. I like it. So I'm going to try to get one if I can. But this isn't the only one, because we are also getting the next issue that's supposed to have this as well. So issue 2 should have this cover here, also doing the Blacklight thing. Again, It's a cool looking cover. Hopefully the colors come out right and it's not recalled. As far as I know, it hasn't been. So we'll see what happens. Another cool book. I actually really dig this cover. This is another prison. Harley Quinn. So the Night Terror Harley Quinn book. This didn't fit the creepy section because it's not that creepy, but I think it's really cool the way that you have almost like the pixelated 8-bit on the top and the bottom, and then the tear out is more of her traditional art. I like that change in textures, and I don't know. It's kind of cool, but it looks like old footage, like 8-bit kind of game box kind of art on the parts of it. But she does have a 1 in 25, which again didn't feel creepy. So it didn't make the creepy section, but I thought it was cool. So we got Harley there with a bunch of Harleys, and the overall picture when you pull out, it gives kind of like a skull look. I think it's kind of cool. I kind of like it. Once again, it's a 1 in 25, but not selling for above ratio. So it's there. Keep an eye on it because it could. I think I like it. I kind of dig it. I wouldn't mind getting one, but I kind of want it for cheap. So if I can get one for like 10 to 15 bucks, maybe I'll grab this because I like it. I like the layout. It's got almost like a skateboard deck kind of vibe to it. Up next, sticking with DC, we do have that Poison Ivy book, Poison Ivy Uncovered, #1. A couple of cool covers. I mean, it is what it is. If you like Poison Ivy covers, there's plenty for you. We got this. We got another one here, bright yellows. Pretty cool. The 1 in 25 is also nice. I think this is Ekijor. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but pretty cool. 1 in 25 here as well. Again, not selling for premium yet, so I'm not giving you any of that info, but something to keep an eye on. Mark Brooks is giving us another corner box cover here for the Avengers. I dig it. I'll probably grab it because I grabbed the other ones. I like these. EM Gist is giving us a pretty awesome Ghost Rider this week with the skull and the chains on the ground. That's an interesting layout. I like this too. I'll probably try to grab this one. Jeff DeCall, Deckel, or however you say his name properly, is giving us a pretty cool She-Hulk here. When I saw the solicit for this one, the first thing I saw was Bianca Belair. Call me crazy, but that's what I see. She kind of has the build, and even the face makes me think that this was modeled a little bit after Bianca Belair. If you don't know, former, WWE Women's Champion. She actually held both Raw and SmackDown, but now they renamed the belts. Regardless, that's who this reminds me of in the art, and that's not to say that's a bad thing. I like it, so pretty cool. Silk. Silk's got another one. This time we're going pirate style. Remember that cowboy one for was it issue 2? I think it's issue 3 now. We're getting a pirate cover for Silk. All right, cool. Whatever. It just kind of caught my eye. Well, we'll see what happens. Moving on. I think we just have our incentive section, then we'll be done for this week. So incentives, there are a few. I know I've already covered a couple in the other segments leading up to this, but straight up incentives alone, we got this book, David Aja, giving us a really nice black, white, and red cover. This is a Berserker cover, Berserker Poetry of Madness, #1. This is a 1 in 25. Again, not selling for above ratio, so I'm not giving you pricing info, but it's kind of cool. And I like Aja, so might look to get this. I don't know, just for that reason. John Jiang's giving us a pretty awesome Wolverine as well. This is a 1 in 25 for Wolverine #35. I thought this thing would be selling for a premium, but again, it's right around ratio right now. So we'll keep an eye on it, but that's kind of where this is at. I just think it's an awesome cover. Like, it's something cool about the art. So maybe this one will gain steam just because that happens. That happens plenty, or it's just the art. Doesn't have anything to do about what's on the inside of this book or first appearances or what. Sometimes it's just really cool art. Hits on a 1 in 25. Couldn't make a book start selling. Now, I thought about putting this one in the regular cover section, but since we have incentives to talk about it, we just have it here. The cover price version of What If Dark Spider-Gwen. It's a rose beige. Pretty cool. I would get this for regular cover price, but there is a 1 in 25 here. So I actually kind of like this cover with the the tombstone, the rain, the umbrella. I like it. The empty space, the negative space there in the cloudy sky is utilized well in my opinion. So I actually like this. I don't like these prices though. 1 in 25 already pre-selling for 30, and then there's a lot with some other issues where it's best offer on 50. Okay, so it's not the actual sale prices that kind of scaring me off, but when I was looking to say, well, how much will this cost me if I want to buy one? This is where I got a little put off because the asking prices are 55 to 60 on this 1 in 25 right now. So we'll see if they start getting those prices, but that's what they're asking for right now. So if you want to pre-buy this on eBay, at least, that's what you're looking at. So go check some of the bigger online stores. Maybe you can still sneak one if you're into it. I might look. I don't know. It won't kill me if I don't get this. It's just, it's kind of cool. But this book also has a 1 in 100. So it's a virgin version of that Rose Besh art. Kind of reminds me of that silk cover a bit, with a little bit of the hard outline and the just plain color. You know, this yellow one I'm talking about? This one, but has purple. Just reminds me of that similar kind of vibe. But a 1 in 100 of this, yeah, not going to be easy. Not going to be easy to find. Pre-sales already 170, and then you got the 100 and the 1 in 25 sold together for $240. Yeah, no, I can't be paying that kind of price. Asking prices, well, 172, 225, 250 for this 1 in 100 as well. I know. Maybe not a lot of shops ordered 100 copies, but that's a bit extreme for me, at least. I mean, we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes come Wednesday, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Because I mean, it already has hit above that 170. That's no small number either. So we'll see where it goes. See if it keeps going up, comes down, etc. The next bit is confusing. There's got to be something. One of these pictures is wrong. I think perhaps the regular cover price version of the X-Men. This is that Hellfire Gala. I know I probably should have put it up in the front when we had it in the other section, but we're doing it here in the incentives. This is the regular. There's a J. Scott Campbell regular variant of this. I think this is the one that's incorrect because I think it's probably got maybe a newer looking trade dress in the background, because this picture is the same exact one as the retro one. That's 1 in 200. Or the art is the same with that X-Men logo in the back is the same, but that corner circle of the current logo is probably not going to be present on the 1 in 200. One of those two things is probably the case. Just not 100% because of the art that's available. It's identical. They're identical, the JSC and the 1 in 200. But before we get to the 1 in 200, there is a virgin version of this for a 1 in 100. So you can see no trade dress at all. So 1 in 100 of this. Pretty cool. No pre-sales. Asking prices of this thing, well, $100, 230, and somebody else is looking for $405. None sold, mind you, but that's what's being asked. Ratio up to 4 times ratio. Some crazy prices, right? But like I said, the cover art for the 1 in 200 called the J. Scott Campbell Retro. And when you go back to the other retro covers that he did, they are very similar to the regular version. It's like a very minute difference between the high ratio incentive and the regular cover price edition. Once again, I think it's probably just going to be that X-Men logo at the bottom's probably not there on the 1 in 200, but I don't know for certain because, again, I haven't seen one. It's not out yet. But the 1 in 200 does have one pre-sale for under the ratio, just under at 180. But the asking prices, again, you saw the asking prices of the 1 in 100. Look at these. $420, $810. I have no words. So we'll just leave it there. We'll leave it there. What you think of that? And if you think the 1 in 200 is kind of crazy, well, there is more. Because let's get back to that Venom book. That spoiler cover, new Venom symbiote character, sure. Tons of exclusives, etc. There's even an exclusive that has the spoiler character on the cover, but I haven't seen the art of it. I forget who has it. But apparently one of those exists as well. So keep that in mind too before you go investing in a lot of stuff. There are incentives, including, here's one of the regular covers. Again, there's multiple variants of the regular cover. We saw the Secret Wars 8, Homage, etc. This is also, I should have put it in here, but there's also a trade dress version of this. But the 1 in 200 is a virgin version of this cover. It looks like a Predator mixed with a Venom when you look at with the the jowls. Really cool. I'm into it, but 1 in 200, which you would think is going to be crazy. You saw the X-Men, right? So you saw the asks there. You figure this is probably going to be crazy too. Surprisingly, it wasn't. So 1 in 200 pre-sales, $100, 125, 150. Okay, still a lot of money, but all of those are well under ratio at a 1 in 200. Asking prices, well, One up for 90 bucks. That's less than half. 169, 110. So there are copies up and available. There's a lot of watchers on these books already. And you see somebody has last one, so they had multiples of a 1 in 200. How many copies of this did you order? Maybe that's one of the exclusive sellers. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Point being, there are copies available, and they are asking for less than that ratio mark. But I still want to track it and still keep an eye on it to see what happens come Wednesday. Because even at a 1 or 200, that's not even the highest. We still have a 1 in 300 to look out for. And that's this, which is basically just the Venom logo. I mean, it's cool. Maybe get a remark on something like this would be kind of cool, but 1 in 300. I don't know if you want to pay that kind of price to plan to get a remark. It's like paying 1 in 300 prices for a blank. But 199, 200 bucks, 275, all still under ratio, but not by much. I mean, 275 is pretty close. And the asking prices, 210, 220, $200. So again, under ratio, not well below, but still under, and copies available. We'll see what happens come Wednesday. But with that said, this has become one of the longer shows that I do because there's so many books that I'm looking out for and looking at. I buy too many comic books, which is why I need to take some time to get rid of a bunch of these one of these days. I probably should stop buying so many on a week-to-week basis too, so I don't have so much of I don't keep adding to the problem, but I can't help it. Can't help it. I'm sure you guys can understand. And with that, that's all I got. So that's the stuff I'm looking for this week. Thanks for the support. Thank you, members. You guys will get this as soon as I can get it out there, and everybody else will check this out Monday night. But those are the books I'm looking for this week, and I want to keep an eye on. Like I said, looking for. Like, I'm not going to buy all of it. You know I'm not going to buy all of it. You guys know me well enough by now to know I'm not buying 1 in 300s. It's just not what I do. They're cool, curious. I like tracking it. I like watching. I like looking, like window shopping. But that's not where I pull my wallet out. I'm more of a cheap shopper. So with that, thank you again for all the support. Got plenty more coming your way. Coming tomorrow, Tuesday. I should say tomorrow. Coming on Tuesday. Since I did Chasing Ghosts last week, we're going back to Hidden Gems, and I got a last to know with some final issues for you to go look out for in those boxes. So take a look at it. And then make sure you check out the Tax Show on Wednesday because we got a fun new segment of a top 10 that we want to try out on you guys. I think it'll be fun. So come check it out live and take part in a fun new segment. And with that, I'll see you all later. All right.